This place is so creepy.
One of the most haunted places in the world.
I don't like being here.
Jess, look. Everything in your life is turned upside down. You've got some strange woman haunting you. I'd be freaked out too. But that's why we're here. And we're gonna figure this all out.
I don't know if I can deal with it.
Maybe, if just for once, you trust me enough.
Sorry I'm late. How are you both? I see you've brought your cards. Thank you. And I've brought some of my grandmother's items, but please, you first.
Okay, but you have to understand, I have no idea how the tarot's supposed to work. I draw cards whenever I'm not sure what to do next, and every card seems to represent a person or place I need to find.
Interesting. So, could you draw some new cards now?
We could use a little help.
Okay.
Looks like we're gonna need a juggler.
Last card.
This was my grandmother's card.
Strength.
A woman taming a lion, the 8th card of the Major Arcana. Oh my god, that's her.
Whenever I've seen the dead woman, it feels like she's trying to lead me somewhere. Maybe it's to this place? But what is it? Where is it? And what happened there? Was it Lauren's grandmother who was trying to contact me? If so, why contact me and not Lauren?
Emma was always the skeleton in our family closet. A lot of people reviled her, called her a witch. Granted, she did have some unconventional beliefs.
Sounds a lot like some of my ancestors.
Spiritualist?
Maybe. I didn't find out about my unconventional birth family till a few months ago.
That must have been a shock.
Yeah. So any theories on what happened to her?
She just finished a series of highly publicized seances, including one with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He pronounced her to be an authentic psychic and made her an instant sensation. A few weeks later, she just vanished. I suspect she was brought here to be murdered.
After I drew my 3 cards, it was Lauren's turn to show me what she brought.
My grandmother had several of these. This symbol was important to her, representing both infinity and the number 8.
Same as the number on the strength card.
So Jess, when you're ready, pick it up. I like to take some time.
I saw this memory after touching the pendant that belonged to Lauren's grandmother. Emma Somerville is with the man I saw before, when Sydney was first teaching me about psychometry.
You welcome all your guests with such expensive champagne.
Only the beautiful ones.
So, I'm the first to arrive.
Yes, until tomorrow. It will be just the two of us, I'm afraid.
And your wife, of course. I'm sorry she isn't feeling well.
Yes, it's a pity. I'll leave you to unpack your things. Welcome to Starfall. I hope our time here will be fruitful.
There was a secret compartment somewhere in this room. Whoever stayed here found it, and what was inside it. I don't know who Mr. S or H. LaRoche are, but something tells me whatever they were planning, it wasn't good. This is where dead time took place, in the cellar beneath the bed and breakfast. I have a strong sense of déjà vu down here. Almost as soon as the lights go out, I can sense that someone is here, waiting for me. She's come for me. At Dead Time, I learned more about the dark history of Beacon Bay.
A lot of people ask why this place is so haunted. Well, for one, dozens of ships sank off this part of the coast before the lighthouse was built in the 1850s. Going back a few generations, there was a thriving town here. There's been a bunch of speculating about what happened, but the town ended up deserted and pretty much leveled. Everything except the lighthouse, with more than a few of the residents dead and others never heard from again.
I'd never heard the term Dead Time. Lauren had to explain it to me and Daniel.
Dead time is the deepest, darkest time of night, when things are the most silent and still. It's when we seem to be more attuned to psychic energy.
So, what's gonna go on tonight?
Last night was amateur night. We had about twice as many people as we'll have tonight.
Why's that?
It's one thing to imagine the paranormal. It's quite another when it's experienced.
Some of the things I'd seen in Beacon Bay were really disturbing. I just wanted to get home to my apartment and then talk to Sydney. I needed him to help me understand what was happening. After what had happened at Dead Time, I just wanted to get away. I was scared, confused, and taking it all out on Daniel.
Jess, wait up! Where are you going?
Home, to my apartment.
Why? What's going on?
I can't be here. It's too overwhelming.
I don't understand.
I don't want my gift. I want my life the way it was.
And I'm just trying to help. But everything I do, you just shut me out.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe I just need more time.
Maybe you should take off and leave me hanging for a few weeks before you even pick up the phone. And then show up 3 months later and pretend nothing's wrong.
You can come with me.
No, I'm staying. All the answers are here.
Sydney had encouraged me to go to Beacon Bay. Now I needed him to help me make sense of everything. It wasn't Gira. It's someone I don't even know. It just doesn't make sense.
You've known about your gift for all of 3 months, and now you know what makes sense and what doesn't?
Daniel was there.
Daniel's there because I sent him the photos. I don't know why he was expecting you. Maybe it's because he's exceptionally intuitive. But Daniel's not the issue here. You need to find out what your connection is to Eva Somerville, and you won't learn that here.
You're right, Sydney, but I didn't come here for that. I came here to ask why you've been lying to me. The one thing I'd taken away from the B&B, literally, was the old photo of the girl named Celeste. I was eager to see how Sydney reacted to it.
You have something you want to ask me?
Explain this.
What is it?
I think you know perfectly well who it is. I think it's why you sent me there. I just want to know why you lied about having heard of Beacon Bay.
I didn't know it by that name.
Okay, Starfall, whatever, but you still knew.
I suspected.
So it's true. This is my mother, Celeste. She lived in that place.
Yes, but I didn't send you there. Other forces are at work here, and you should be back in Beacon Bay.
Not until you tell me what you've been lying about. When I got back to my apartment after leaving Daniel back in Beacon Bay, I called Sydney and asked him to come see me. Then I sat down and went through a huge pile of mail. This was the only thing out of the ordinary. Why would someone send me a puzzle of a map? When Daniel asked if I'd gotten any unusual messages, this is what he was referring to. He sent this to me. That's why he was expecting me at the bed and breakfast. When I showed up at the bed and breakfast, Daniel assumed it was because I'd gotten this invitation. He didn't know I hadn't gone back to my apartment.
He's been honest with you. It's time you trusted him. You can't just quit or run away.
Emma Somerville's been dead for 80 years. What does any of it have to do with me?
As you've started to learn, the way time works isn't simple and straightforward. We knew about you long before you were born. Events from 80 years ago are just starting to affect you now.
What events?
That's what we need to find out. I wasn't there when it happened. Yes, I was alive, but I was young. This was years before I developed the gift.
The gift? You had the gift?
I know what you're going through because I've been through it myself.
My real name is Gira.
The Sydney I knew and trusted is gone, replaced by this woman. I just can't believe that my great-aunt Gira has spent years living as a man. What would make her do this? And why didn't she tell me before?
What strength I have left goes into keeping this a safe haven.
You've used your gift to help me, haven't you?
Yes, not as often as I should have, perhaps, but enough to keep you alive.
What would happen if you came with me to Beacon Bay?
I can't, Jess. There are other sources of support and strength. You know who this represents?
I drew this card with Devon. It's Daniel. And I think I know who the next card will be.
Merriman. It's time for you to choose, Jess. Whoever is most important to you, select his card first.
I wish you'd come with me.
Whatever it was that destroyed that village, it hasn't left. I'm not strong enough to withstand it. That's why you wanted to leave so badly without knowing why.
And you want me to go back?
You're being summoned, child, and you can't control your gift well enough to resist it.
When I left Sydney, Gira, I should say, I felt more helpless, more vulnerable than ever before. I couldn't spend the rest of my life hiding like she had. Only one person I know doesn't seem afraid of Crawford, and that's Merriman. He picks me up at the airport in Vegas the next day. The moment I see Merriman at the airport, I feel safer. We haven't known each other that long, but we've already been through a lot together. There are other people I love, but no one else I'm willing to literally trust with my life.
You ready?
In a minute. I just wanted to tell you how much it means to me that you're here.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of committed to the whole thing at this point. Plus, your dad's paying me pretty well.
That's it?
Look, Jess, I told you, I'm just a gumshoe. I mean, every once in a while I do something for the right reason.
You're more than that. To me, anyway.
Listen, Jess. Maybe I gave you the wrong impression. Hey, it's a hell of a compliment, though. I mean, an old guy like me, a gorgeous young thing like you, it's just not...
But you said when you met me...
Look, I don't meet a lot of women like you. I run in different circles. Most people I know aren't worth saving. You are. Not for myself.
But I think I'm in love with you.
You're in love with an image you've created. Your boyfriend, he's real. He seems like a good kid. Some women just want things they can't have or shouldn't have. I think you might be that type. You shouldn't be. Trust me.
After he picked me up, Merriman drove us straight to the minaret, Crawford's tower, and the place where I'd almost been murdered. Why would he just hand over the keys?
Well, I can think of at least 5 reasons. But the most likely is he wants us, you more specifically, to find something inside.
And it could be another trap.
Crawford said the 2 of you were looking for the same thing. Maybe you'll find it here.
What he wants me to find. I hadn't been back to Vegas since that night 3 months ago in the minaret. Merriman had been there most of the time since.
You found out some things about your weirdo family, right? Ever come across any references to hunters?
I don't think so. Why?
You remember Savaris?
Let me think. Big scar, Scottish accent, hired killer who came after me at the refinery?
Okay, you remember him. I was using a figure of speech.
Please continue.
I knew Savaris from before, and he's a bad man. I wasn't comfortable not knowing where he was, and I couldn't really ask Crawford if he called off the dogs or not. So I went looking for him.
Are you crazy?
Look, it all worked out. He's enjoying a little downtime.
What did you do to him?
I booked him a nice long vacation at the Kindred Acute Care Medical Facility here in Vegas.
I appreciate you looking out for me.
Well, it wasn't just you. He and I have a little history. Curious thing is, turns out Savaros may have some history with you and your family, too.
Merriman and I found this portrait while we were in Las Vegas. I think it's the man I've seen with Emma Somerville and the other woman. I noticed there's something weird about a few of the objects in the background. Maybe they're clues to his identity. After I finish touching the images on the portrait, a slip of paper comes loose from the frame. So this man, the one I've seen in the visions, he was the father of Adrian Crawford and Celeste, my mother. Crawford and Celeste were brother and sister. Merriman's reaction had taken me by surprise. I guess I'd totally misread him. Maybe I was wrong about Daniel, too. When I get to Beacon Bay, Daniel isn't in the house, so I walk out to the overlook, hoping to find him there. Daniel was nowhere to be found. Everywhere I looked, it was completely deserted. I decide to head back when suddenly I find myself facing the last person on Earth I ever wanted to see.
Hello, Jess. Or is it back to Sitara?
I have nothing to say to you.
Then go. You see, this is where you're meant to be. With me.
I'd rather die.
Just like your father. You can't change fate, Jess. Our fate is here, and getting closer every hour.
Kira said Crawford could sense her using the gift. It was probably just a matter of time before the man who'd murdered my father and mother would find me. I just had no idea how soon that would be.
It's the same for all of you. You have no intuition, no antenna. With all your ability, you're nothing more than a lovely tool. In the right hands, however...
Get your hands off me!
Or what? You have no power that will harm me. I, on the other hand, am very capable of harming you. But I don't want that. All I want is the use of your gift.
My brother...
His powers are different and weak. It's you I need.
I won't do it.
You don't know the truth, Jess. Only I see the past and the future. You can't escape the past. And without me, you won't escape the future.
I find Lauren and she's upset. It feels like I'm misreading everyone. Have you seen Daniel?
I don't know where he's gone. And I hope you don't find him.
Excuse me?
You know, just once, I'd like to find someone who would treat me like Daniel treats you. And you don't care.
I think I made a mistake.
Yes, and I'm sure he'll take you right back. I practically threw myself at him after you left. But all he'd say was how he was going to prove himself to you.
I look for Daniel in his room, but all I find is this. It's from Crawford. The note asks, who will I choose to save? Is there any way I can save everyone? The message from Crawford is crystal clear. If I don't give in to him, all these people I care about will pay the price.
No one else would tell you that Celeste was my sister. There's much more they haven't told you.
Is this what you said to Celeste? How you convinced her to leave my father?
Before Devon was even born, I did everything for her. I saved her life. I asked so little in return.
I'm sure you promised to keep her safe, too. Right up until you murdered her.
You will submit. It is the only way. I've asked you to do so willingly, but if you refuse, Lila, your poor deteriorating mother, I'll start with her.
Please.
Jess, wake up.
Daniel, what's happening?
I think you were gone, traveling.
It was Crawford. He's here, in Beacon Bay.
You need to leave, Jess. Bad things are about to happen.
Daniel, I've been thinking about you and me.
The gift causes us to live longer and age more slowly. It even affects the people around us. I was already a young woman back in 1929, and quite pretty, if you can believe it. That was one of the things I had to sacrifice, that and using my gift.
Why?
Adrian has been exposed to its power most of his life, making him unusually sensitive. He's hunted me all these years. The only way to avoid being exposed was to no longer use it.
So he'll know when I'm using the gift.
It doesn't matter. He said it himself. He needs you.
Why does he need my power?
It all goes back to 1929. That's when Emma Somerville came to Starfall and then vanished. The village was destroyed soon after, and Adrian and Celeste were there at that time. If we can find what connects those three events, you will have your answer.
I came to see Gira, one last time before I went back to Beacon Bay and Adrian Crawford. Before I went back to Beacon Bay, I called my parents and asked them to come meet us at the Haven. When my parents showed up, my mom seemed to think she was there to get an astrological reading. Gira, who we all continue to call Sydney, plays along, giving me a chance to talk to my dad alone. Is Mom okay? This is the second time she's done this. On the boat, she didn't remember talking to me about Devon.
First time I noticed was months ago, right after we saw you at the motel, before Devon showed up. A few more times on the boat when we were alone. The last couple days, it's gotten worse. She gets mad.
At what?
I don't know, stuff only she can see.
It's not Alzheimer's, right? That comes on slowly.
I'm taking her to see someone. We're gonna run every test in the book.
Maybe it's just stress.
Yeah, maybe.
Gira's trying to support me, telling me I have the upper hand with Crawford. But this is the same man she spent most of her life hiding from. I don't ever want to surrender to him, but is there even an alternative?
None of us will be safe. Not until Adrian is dead.
I'm pretty sure my dad made some kind of offer to Merriman. A bounty on Crawford's head.
A bounty Merriman will never collect, I assure you. Adrian may not have the gift, but he has power. It's turned him into something dark, twisted, and obsessed. He's already lived longer than he should have.
But you don't know where he gets his power.
No, nor do I want to know.
I want to know. Maybe there'll be something in the cards.
Certainly not the Hierophant. That wouldn't have anything to do with Adrian. This represents stalemate or worse. The world, though.
That's a good card, isn't it?
This is accomplishment, activity, and perhaps most importantly for you, putting the pieces together.
Before I left Vegas, Merriman wanted me to see one more thing. We drove to the Kindred Hospital. This is where Merriman said he'd left the hired killer, Savaris, to recuperate. But it wasn't Savaris he wanted me to see.
This is her.
What happened to her?
She worked for the devil. She was your brother's nursemaid. At least the most recent one.
They hurt her?
Hurt her. Depends on how you look at it. This is the psych ward.
What's she saying?
She's saying, please, kill me.
Daniel had turned up a possible lead in Providence, Rhode Island, at a place called the Wells Museum. The first time I saw Edwin Wells was in the photo Lauren showed me and Daniel. The second time is after I touched the telephone that belonged to him.
It is my understanding, my dear Mr. Wells, that you are in need, owing to the considerable expenses associated with your current and past archaeological ventures. Should you agree to participate in my own trifling venture, I assure you, financial backing will never again be a concern to you. Yours, Ceresar.
In her search for her grandmother, Lauren had discovered some interesting and disturbing details. Lauren and Daniel are able to start connecting the dots.
My grandmother had correspondence with quite a few people in the spiritualist movement.
Anyone named Wells by any chance?
Yes! I mean, no, I don't think they ever wrote to each other, but hold on. Edwin Wells, religious scholar, amateur archaeologist and philanthropist, vanished mysteriously in late 1929 from an excavation.
That's when your grandmother disappeared.
And it wasn't just Wells and my grandmother. There were 5 in all. Every one of them vanished without a trace, all sometime in or before October 1929.
For Daniel, the biggest mystery was finding out what had left Beacon Bay a deserted ruin. After a few hours on the internet, he turned up 100 different theories and the name of an obscure turn-of-the-century amateur archaeologist.
So apparently Edwin Wells spent years and most of his fortune conducting archaeological digs. First was in 1898 at a place called Harappa. Kept at it off and on until the late 20s in the city of Mohenjo-Daro.
And this has what to do with Beacon Bay?
Well, a couple things. First, both of those cities seem to have been suddenly abandoned or destroyed.
Well, that has to be a total coincidence.
Edwin Wells didn't think so.
And do you think there's something to it?
Hey, I'm open to any other suggestions. Go ahead, answer it. Maybe it's Edwin.
Not funny. If I can solve the puzzle, maybe I'll get some useful information about Edwin Wells. Some prize. Just a replica of Wells' business card looks like. I don't know if there's any useful info here or not. The Minaret, the massive tower in downtown Las Vegas where I'd almost died. This was what Merriman had wanted to show me, Crawford's inner sanctum. It was part library, part mystical shrine. So, where do we start?
Well, one thing does kind of stand out.
What? The globe?
It's not just a globe, it's a travelogue, a high-tech holographic visual display. See all those hotspots? They're links to all kinds of data. Video, photos, 3D images, audio clips, you name it. I can't even guess how many years it took Crawford to find and catalog all this.
And this is what he wanted us to find?
Well, it's not like he's some big geography buff. Took me a while, but I found method in the madness. For starters, most of the info is centered on 4 locations: Paris, Berlin, Pakistan, and the northeastern U.S. And no, it's not his 4 favorite vacation spots.
But there is a connection between them.
Oh, yeah. I think Crawford's been searching for something his whole life. I'm just hoping he hasn't found it.
Ignoring all the red flags, I decided to trust Merriman and go with him into the minaret. It doesn't take long for things to start connecting. I'm not seeing anything personal in here. No scrapbooks, no diaries, no mementos.
He doesn't seem like a real sentimental kind of guy.
Yeah, but not even a single photo? And if you get that rich, aren't you required to get your portrait done?
Actually, I did see a portrait around here somewhere. I think it's over there, in with those paintings. You're right, though. Some nice decorations, but nothing personal. Closest thing I've found is a couple of old European flags. Maybe they're where his family came from. No, it's not Crawford. It's pretty good.
No, it isn't. It's not good at all. Back at the bed and breakfast during dead time, I heard some things that made no sense, until later, when Merriman and I found ourselves inside the minaret.
3 of them know the secret. A dark man. He is the strongest. He thinks he is in control. A fat man, intelligent and weak. He won't stand against them. A small man. He is a fool. He has no soul. There are 5 now. The 3 plus 2 more. 1 is a woman. She is here with us now. She has a message. Come to us. Come to us. Find us.
I got the sheet of paper back at the bed and breakfast. The psychic at dead time was jabbing it with a pencil. For some reason, he gave it to me when he was done. I don't remember packing it, but it was still in my suitcase when I got to Vegas. The psychic at the B&B said he was sensing spirits and that they had a message. It was the same kind of thing I'd been hearing. Come to us. Find us. Is this what they want me to find? Daniel said he figured out where Beacon Bay was by identifying this lighthouse. I guess there's no other one like it.
So what's the point of the drawing? I mean, you were already there.
Getting me there was just the first step. The voice on the phone in the bedroom said the word lie. Then, at the museum, I heard it say light.
And the next thing it's gonna say is lighthouse.
Yes, I think this is where the visions have been leading me. To the lighthouse itself.